What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2008 film One Missed Call. So this movie I did not know anything about. Actually, I was just going to Salvation Army yesterday because I was going to Meijer to I had to pick up some adult beverages, and there's a Salvation Army on the way. They always have great movies. I haven't been there in a long time, but I've bought tons and tons of movies over the years at Salvation Army. There's this really good one over by a Meijer near me. But anyways, like I said, I never heard of this movie before, and I saw this cover, and it really caught my eye. So I picked it up, and then I picked this other movie up called Shudder, which I actually found out later that both of these movies came out in the same year, and they're both very similar. This is a remake of a Japanese horror movie, and the other one is a remake of a Taiwanese horror movie, so they're very similar, so that was kind of cool to buy them together. It's a good deal. Buying some movies at Salvation Army, it's you get two for $1, 50 cents each, so that's not a bad time. But I didn't know anything about this. Like I said, the cover caught my eye. It's a very cool cover. I didn't know this, but it actually has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which 0%. That's pretty harsh. I did not enjoy this movie, but it wasn't offensively bad. It didn't piss me off. A 0%, that's pretty harsh. These critics are not playing around. I don't know, 0%. But actually, it was a kind of a funny story. So when I was browsing the movies there, I keep touching this. When I was browsing the movies there was just couple other guys. There's this one guy checking out CDs and this other guy checking out movies, and they were like really friendly dudes. The one guy was telling me he flips all kinds of stuff. He was showing me, how he would use Google Lens and the barcode scanner on eBay, and he would find some box sets and some anime movies, some rare stuff, and he would get them for 50 cents there and flip them for like $30. He was flipping band T-shirts, but he was telling me like a lot of cool stuff on how he was making like a pretty good profit just as like a little side hustle, just flipping stuff from thrift stores. But I mean, he showed me all the transactions, all the payments. He was making a killing. But anyways, I was talking to those guys, and I was just looking at the movies, and we all came across this porn video, because I saw it initially, and it kind of had like a blackish reddish cover like this, so I grabbed it. I thought it was some horror movie, and we all saw it, and we were talking about it. We're like, how did this slip under the cracks? Because you could clearly see it. It was porn. Like it talked about like erotica this, erotica that. There's a bunch of tits on the back, a bunch of nudity. I don't think on the front cover, but it clearly like stated that it was porn, and we were just all cracking up about it because, I mean, Salvation Army is probably one of the funniest places to find a porn DVD, because it's such a wholesome place. You walk in, it's a charitable organization. You walk in there, and they always play religious music. Whenever you go in there, it's always like, Jesus loves me, I love Jesus, do do do. I'm not making fun of religious music. Shouts out to religious music, but I'm just saying, it's the funniest place to just find a porn tape. I don't know how it slipped under the cracks. It's such a contradictory thing. I don't who maybe it was like an older woman or something, and she just is like, oh, that's just a DVD. And then that's what I was thinking too. Who would donate? Like, why are you donating your porn to Salvation Army? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of nice actually. You're like, hey, maybe some youngster will get some use out of it. You know, I've had a good run with this. I've got my use out of it. But then this other guy, that one of the guys that we were talking to, he was like, seriously, he wanted to pick it up because I guess uh, he was an older gentleman. He wasn't old, but he was older. He was probably in his 50s, so he was around with physical porn. Not he's new to all the internet porn. So basically, he was like contemplating picking it up. He's like, yeah, I'm taking care of my mom, so I had to get rid of my porn collection, but I might just pick this up. It looks like a good one. So that guy was cool as hell. I thought that was super funny. So I'm not even talking about this movie, but I just thought that was such a funny, memorable interaction picking up this movie, and it 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 was so hilarious. Even though the movie wasn't that great, I mean, it was worth it just going picking it up. So let me check my notes real quick. Yeah, so like I said, this is a Japanese horror film. It's also referred to as J-horror, and this actually at the time this came out 2008. A couple other uh, Japanese horror it's a remake. It's an American version, and this was a popular trend in the 2000s. Some other popular ones that came out around this time were the Grudge remake and the Ring remake. My history with these, I have not seen The Ring. I have it back here. I own it. I picked it up a while ago. I thought, oh, that's horror. I'll pick it up. I'll watch it eventually, but I'm not a big fan of J-horror. The only thing that I saw was The Grudge, and I was not a big fan of that. But I saw Scary Movie 4 before seeing The Grudge. So there's the beginning of Scary Movie 4, Charlie Sheen takes a bunch of Viagra and jumps off the balcony. So when I was watching The Grudge and I saw that scene, I was just laughing. I mean, same with The Ring. I haven't seen The Ring, but Scary Movie 3, I'm a huge fan. Me and my buddy, we used to watch that thing on repeat. There was that scene with Kevin Hart and that one other guy. I forgot the other guy's name. He's in a lot of stuff. But they're like, if a rat goes inside, does that make it a mouse? And if a mouse goes outside, does that make it a rat? Man, you just made a fact. But yeah, we would watch Scary Movie 3 like a million times. We'd watch it on repeat. We'd always say that line to each other. So Scary Movie 3, it's a good time. I rewatched it recently though. I didn't have the best time with it, but when I was a young cat, I was a big fan of that movie. But anyways, going back into the topic, that movie made fun of The Ring a lot. There's that sequence where Brenda's fighting the girl from The Ring. So yeah, I saw all the parodies of the J-horror movies before I even saw a J-horror movie. And the only other J-horror movie that I've seen besides, like I said, is The Grudge. So I'm not very familiar with these. I'm not the biggest fan of these. Maybe if I saw the actual, Japanese versions, they seem a lot better. I heard that the Japanese version of this, One Missed Call, it has a lot more social commentary. This one is just kind of a big budget Hollywood cash grab. It's following a trend. it's kind of soulless. It doesn't really. It does. You just feel like you're watching some generic shit, you know. But I heard the original has a lot of social commentary about uh, like the dangers of cell phones, and especially the dangers of cell phones for young people, which I believe the the Japanese version came out in 2003. This came out in 2008, and they're using all flip phones. So the social commentary about, you know, the dangers of phones is even more relevant today with smartphones. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I'm big time addicted to my cell phone. I don't recall a time where I've even been a couple days without it in recent years. So I mean, that's some topical commentary. I'm not a huge fan of political, not political, social commentary in movies, but I do appreciate if it's like, if it's subtle. I don't like when they kind of beat you over the head with it. But one example that I'll always use of some good social commentary is the first, the original Dawn of the Dead, where they're kind of George Romero's kind of talking about consumerism and how people spend so much time at the mall and they're so into, you know, possessions and buying clothes and this and that. So the zombies they gravitate towards the mall. I think that's, it's subtle. It's not, they don't beat you over the head with it like, you gotta believe this is bad, blah, blah, blah. It's just a subtle, like, there's like one line of dialogue talking about it, and then it's just the setting. I think that's some great social commentary. But yeah, I might have to check the actual Japanese versions of these out. I'm not the biggest fan of subtitles. Do they have a dubbed version? Probably not, but I'll watch some subtitles, whatever. I need to read more. I need to stimulate, you know, my brain a little bit. So yeah, I haven't even gone over the plot. Okay, the basic story is these young people, they're getting calls, and they will get a call from a number of someone who's dead, and when they pick up the phone, they hear a voicemail, and it's a voicemail of themselves, and they're like screaming, about to die. So that's the basic story. You know, the story was pretty fresh. I think that was a unique idea, especially when it came out. Cell phones were a newer thing, so I think the story was unique. I wasn't. I mean, I was engaged in the story. The thing is, like I said, it is soulless. It was kind of bland. I think the story was unique, and it was interesting. I wasn't really bored during the movie, but it was just neither here nor there. It wasn't, you know, anything to write home about. It was just whatever. Yeah, I thought the story was decent enough, serviceable, but there was some other problems. The characters, in my opinion, were just so bland. There's this main girl and this detective, and then I know it's, you know, some grim, morbid circumstances where all their friends are dying, all these people are dying, so of course they're going to be somber. They're not going to be like, hey, how's it going? You want to go find the killer? But they were just so lifeless, and they're just like, and it's like, I don't know, they're just kind of bland and boring to me. And they were like, you know, hanging out throughout the film because they were trying to solve the mystery. And out of the blue, they're just like, hey, we should get dinner together sometime. And it was just like there was absolutely zero chemistry between them. They hadn't built up any sort of chemistry or relationship before that, and then they're just like, yeah, let's get dinner. It's like, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling these two. They're not a power couple in my opinion. They're just, get out of here. This, whatever. And then another huge problem with this, in addition to the bland characters, is the overuse of CGI and just bad CGI. So I'm a big CGI hater. I'm like an old head. I'm like, it's got to be practical. If it's a horror film, it's got to be practical effects, practical gore effects. I usually just can't stand CGI, but I understand that it's useful. A lot of, even, a lot of movies where most of the effects are practical, they still have to use a little bit of CGI. CGI nowadays, even if you don't think they're using it, or even if it doesn't look like it, they're using a little bit of CGI. I think CGI is useful, but I think overusing CGI is like anything. If you're overdoing anything, it's just off-putting. And every monster, ghost type creature in this movie was CGI, and it took me out of it. It looked like a video game. It was not cool. It was not scary at all. It was laughable. It was like stupid. It looked like a video game. What am I playing? Silent Hill? What am I playing? Resident Evil 4 or whatever? Resident Evil 20? I don't know. What the F is this? There's this like little CGI like monster baby. Like, that's supposed to scare me? Is this a real movie? What the heck is going on? So yeah, the CGI, the overuse of CGI in this was not cool. There was even there, not that this is a slasher movie where kills are important. This is more of a mystery, more of a thriller. But there were a couple kills early on, and they were CGI. This guy got this like equipment from these construction workers, and this construction equipment impaled him, and it was all CGI, and I was just like, ah. So I don't know. I mean, I should have, before I picked this up, done a little bit more research, but it was only 50 cents. I looked it up like briefly. I read the back, and then I looked it up on my phone. I'm like, oh, it's not any streaming, might as well pick it up. But I didn't know it had a 0%. But no, it was fun to pick up, and like I said, I had a fun experience actually buying it. I feel like I always remember that experience. That was a fun, funny time. Yeah, I'm glad I picked it up though, because I got the Japanese horror, and then I got that Taiwanese movie. They're both remakes, so I'll probably eventually watch all these J-horror type remakes. I have The Ring 1 and 2 I haven't watched yet, and I have The Grudge remake, so it's good for the collection to have all the J-horror stuff. I'll check it out, but yeah, I'll probably check out the rest of the remakes. I'm a completist, so that'll be cool. Cause I mainly watch a lot of slashers, so and when it comes to horror, so it's always good to kind of like broaden my horizons with different horror subgenres. So I mean, like I said, I'm not mad that I picked this up. It'll be cool for the collection, and now maybe I'll check out some other J-horror. Would I recommend this? Absolutely not. Unless you're trying to, drink some adult beverages and just kind of laugh at the stupid CGI. But other than that, I would not recommend it. I had a decent time, but I mean, I was sipping some adult beverages and laughing at the CGI. So, and I was just, like I said, I had a fun time actually buying it. But that's pretty much all I have to say about One Missed Call. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.